This is the Banded Retreat Podcast.
This is an outdoor podcast where we talk about everything from faith to family to leaving a legacy for those to come. What's up, TBR family? We're here for our podcast in a little different background and scene on the front porch here at Commander's Corner in Wilmette, Arkansas. Man, just on our annual hunt, and we were having a great time. We got me, B, and Aaron, and JB for the first time, and then we also got Phil's back with us, JB Hurt, who's our lead pastor, and so we got a lot of guys here having a good time. You can probably hear maybe the snow geese in the back, and
yeah.
But here on the front porch, and I just wanted to start us off with a small devotion, as we always do, our scripture, and it's 2 Peter 3:9. It says, "The Lord is not slow in keeping his promise, as some understand slowness. Instead, he is patient with you, not wanting anyone to perish, but everyone to come to repentance." And the thing is, I just started thinking about God's promises, and that he's not slow. Sometimes we get impatient in life. We're always trying to push to the next thing. We always want it to happen at our own time. And hunting's one of the things that you want those ducks to fly. You also want those geese to come, and sometimes they don't. But I just thinking back to my life, that God's promises, he's always faithful, he's always true. And so when I think about that, I'm thankful that God doesn't work on my time, that his way's perfect, and he is a help to us, and when I put it in his hands, I can trust that he's going to do the right thing at just the right time in my life.
That's right. And we've talked about this before, but God's promise to me was to be a dad, and and that's come true in the last year of mine, and even my prayer here the last month or so is kind of, you get in the prayer time and you get in that conversation with God, and you go back to God. I'm so thankful. I believe in you. I believe in your promise. I believe in your trust. I trust in you, and what God has done in my life, just even over the last year, is just I'm so thankful. So thankful that he answers it on his time, not mine, like you said. And there's I think there's some blessing in the unanswered at times, and it is all God's time. Rachel and I, this year we want to move into a different house, and we've been as patient as we could be here on this one, and that's our prayer this year, is that God opens up doors that we can move and get into maybe a little bit bigger house, and maybe even grow our family and I believe that God will do it. We believe that God will do it, and that is a good word. And circling back to the ducks, we've had some ups and downs here. Even the last we've been here just over 24 hours. And we've had 3 hunts, two morning hunts, which we just ended one, and then a stellar evening hunt. The first hunt we were with River Bend Outfitters in Sherrill, Arkansas.
Yeah, it was great. We got on some speckle bellies and ended up with we had 5 guys, so we had a 5-man limit, which means 2 apiece. So we each got our limit of speckle belly geese, and there were some great moments in that hunt. We were in layout blinds, and it looked like those birds, they kind of came behind us, but they came in a tornado, kind of came around, and they came kind of left to right. And we popped up on the first group. I think we knocked down 4 or something out of the first group of it. And then we had some more volleys and the speckle belly geese. Hopefully in the next little bit, we'll be able to, I think the chef here at Commander's Corner is going to make us some pizza and some things with those. So that's going to be an exciting time.
Yeah, well, we started with a duck hunt.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday morning.
Yeah.
River Bend was nice enough to put us on an impoundment. Unfortunately, I think we were in the wrong place. They were about 100 yards down from us, and you just can't make them do it. I mean, I think the blind that we were on yesterday yesterday morning, the evening before, he said that they were there.
Yeah.
And then that next morning they wanted to be somewhere else. And I think that's just waterfowl in general.
Yeah, that's hunting. I mean, when you think they're going to, you might see them the day before, but it doesn't mean they're going to be there the next day. I mean, that happened at home in the same way.
Oh yeah. I mean, and it's really aggravating. I was thinking yesterday because we had some pass by shots, and we ended up shooting a Drake pintail and he's ended up being wounded. And I didn't send Pastor out because I figured we'd work some more. And that bird wasn't going to go anywhere.
And we were in an impoundment.
Right,
So
right. It was contained.
Yeah.
Way different than what we usually hunt. Big lakes, rivers, where the birds are going to get away from you.
It's more like if you don't know what an impoundment is, it's more like a giant pond, if you would.
Yeah. I was looking at the snow geese.
Yeah, they're flying over.
It's like just a massive group, and they're the birds are definitely here. It's just got to be in the right place, right time. But we knocked down that pintail, and so things kind of died down. And I said, well, I'm just going to go ahead and try to get Pastor on this bird. So we ended up flushing him out. Oh, we got dog fights here. I'm pretty sure that's one from Sporting Life too. But we ended up flushing that bird out, and I should have put a kill shot on the bird. Yeah. But I wanted to let Pastor go grab it, and also I was gonna mount it.
Yeah, so it was the first bull sprig you've got.
Didn't want to mess it up too much, so Pastor went after it, and he put his nose on it, and it dove. And then he's kind of doing the whole circle. It looked like a little circus. And then the bird popped up behind him, and then he saw it there again, and he put his face in the water, and the bird dove, and it never came back up. I've seen that happen before, but I've always seen them come back up somewhere, and then you lose them maybe in the woods or something. But this time it went into water, and it never came out of the water. And they say that they can go in and grab onto something and basically drown themselves, which, lesson learned. I should have just put the bead on them and finished it.
But you're trying to preserve it too. You don't want to shoot it up. You were real close to it, and Pastor was right on it. And you want to work your dog. Pastor's been great on these on the hunt so far, and so he was right on it.
Yeah, he was having an off day. He's been having an off day that morning. Just the cold hard truth, and I'm sure any dog owners would tell you this, but they're just like athletes in a game. You're going to have good games, you're going to have bad games, and he was definitely having a bad game yesterday morning, and we were too. We were too. But then we got out there and did the goose hunt, and that's his sport. Really.
Oh yeah, Pastor loves goose hunting. He loves catching those birds on the run. I'm sure there'll be a couple videos on YouTube of that, and on Facebook if you want to go over there and jump on like that. They'll definitely be coming soon, and probably have one on here right now on YouTube on the podcast. So, but he loves, man. He goes full force, and he loves that bird. To chase it down.
Yeah, I think he likes the weight of them. I think that I was talking to Marty Roberts yesterday evening, and I think they like the weight of them. A lot of dogs really like geese, which Mabel's not a goose girl. And speaking of that, it's kind of funny. But you come on these hunts and you do enough hunts. Last year, actually, I think was the first actual guided goose hunt that we had been on, which we've talked several times about that one. But and that was here at Commander Corner. And you realize that you've got guides out here who they are goose hunters, and then you got guides out here who are duck hunters, and there's no in between. No. There's no gray area. But they can do it both, and but you realize that they've got a specialty, and I like that. I like that too, because I have come to learn, and it's probably because of Pastor, but I've come to learn that I'm a goose hunter. I'd rather kill geese any day. I like ducks. I like shooting any waterfowl, but I really enjoy the geese. I like watching Pastor do the. Like you say, do the whole blind. We got to handle him. We don't get to handle him a whole lot out at home. Yeah, it's just closer proximity whenever they fall, and so we got to handle him a little bit there. And then today there was a couple knocked down, and he ran a couple good blinds and handled them really well there. That his second blind was really good, and he's a good hunter. He's a definitely good hunter. He's loyal. He loves it. Gets fired up, and he makes it. He makes a trip for me. I love watching it.
Oh, it's fun to watch him work when he sits on that whistle, and when B blows the whistle and the dog sits and looks at him, and he can cast him left and right, and back by just motions. It's really impressive to watch the dog turn. And then when he actually sees the bird, if he hadn't seen the bird drop, when he sees it, he's full bore sprint. He's going to go get that thing.
Yeah.
He loves it. And then I love his trot on the way back. His tail's wagging, and he's like, he does this shake like all the way back, like, man, I did it. I've got it. And
he comes back way slower than he goes out. He likes to enjoy it. He likes to strut. And he is a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, it was awesome to see him. There was an eagle head that we got, and there was also a snow goose that he did that blind retrieve on, and that was awesome for him to see it.
And really, I mean, for the people out there, and we can talk a little bit about this, is we had a video that went viral on YouTube and Facebook, but YouTube, it got 8.5 million views, and it was basically Pastor had went out after a wounded goose. And before we talked about that, I wanted to mention, that's the purpose of these hunting dogs. These dogs will grab these wounded game who, in other places or groups that you might go out with that don't have dogs, those wounded game will just stay wounded.
Yeah.
You can't finish them like you should, and the ethical way. And they are a conservation tool. And whether people agree with that or not, they are a tool for our hunt. And they do have a purpose. And as cruel as some people might think it is.
Yeah. It's actually more ethical.
Cruel. It's more cruel to let a wounded bird get away and not find it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is when, I know some of you don't waterfowl hunt, but if you do, you've experienced that still shot, and you put a shot on a bird and it falls, maybe breaks its wing, then you can't retrieve it. It can still walk, it still moves, and it moves faster than you. I mean, you're in waders and bibs and trying to get out there. So a dog definitely can chase it down and bring it back to you, and you can. It's definitely more ethical hunting, really, and like you said, a conservation tool to really have one.
Yeah, and there's situations where you might not need need a dog. I mean, but it's always fun to have. It is a great tool. And so this particular hunt was a couple weeks back. And it was about a week from the big snow. I'm sure. I mean, the whole country was snowing, and it was about a week out. And so we had hunted the lake, and the lake still had some ice on some of the coves. And so had taken a new guy out and his son, and we shot some geese. And we knew we had a wounded one out there. Is again that story where Pastor, it was just too far in that situation. Right. The lake can be overwhelming, and it can be very dangerous as far as long retrieves. Pastor could tire out and drown and whatnot. So in that case, I didn't send him out. So after we had kind of wrapped up, we said, well, let's go over here and see if we can find that wounded bird. So we took the boat around to the cove, and so we go back in this cove, and me and the guy who had brought his son, he looked back at it. He said, I think that's a goose up there on the ice.
Oh yeah.
And so I said, yeah, he had popped his head up at that point, and so we trolled back in there with the boat, and I'll say that particular place was probably 12 inches of water. I got a jet boat.
Yeah.
We can get back pretty shallow. It's about 12 inches of water. Pastor could stand on it. He actually did stand on it because he had to do a muscle up into the ice. But that was one of those situations. We had houses around. We weren't gonna shoot.
Yeah,
so
you can't.
The bird wasn't gonna go anywhere. I mean, as far as it wasn't gonna get up and fly off. So sent Pastor. Pastor does a muscle up on the ice. He walks across the ice. He chases it. He grabs it, and then on his way back, I mean, he's got potentially 10 pounds in his mouth.
Yeah, extra.
So 10 pounds extra with all the water, and so on his way back, he's kind of like breaking through some of the ice. Some of that ice breaks, and then he drags it up, and then he gets to a more sturdy part of the ice, and so he gets to the boat, and we get him in there, and so Wesley, the guy who went with us, he took a video of that, and it was just a short clip, and it ends up going viral on YouTube, 8.5 million views so far, and it was an awesome video. But with that video came a whole lot of hate.
Oh yeah,
a whole lot of hate, and people. I guess just outside of even hunting, when you don't know the full frame of the video, full frame of the picture, you don't get the full story.
Yeah.
And so people felt like I was putting my dog in danger, one by by putting them in water that was cold, which it was cold, but I will say that ice was remnants of what the weather was the week before. The water had warmed up, the ice was still there. Yeah, I get it, but you know, they are somewhat made for that. I mean, God makes them with fur.
Oh yeah, they love to swim. I mean, they go in there.
They're water dogs.
Yeah, they are. They love it.
And there's not, you know, there is a limit, but he was nowhere close to the limit where I wouldn't put him in. That's one thing. Second thing that we got hammered on is the ice. He could have broke through the ice and he could have gotten trapped. That I guess is a possibility here on this one, but the water was 12 inches. It wasn't something that he was going to get under. Freak accidents do happen, but I managed the risk. I managed that dog.
Absolutely.
And so,
plus your boat was there. You were on the boat. I mean, with the jet right there.
And I could have broken through that water and got him. I personally did not feel like he was at a risk that I couldn't have managed or maintained his safety. Some people might, you know, everybody's risk tolerance is a little different.
Yeah.
You know, mine is for my dog and he's my responsibility. I felt that there was no danger in that situation. There could have been danger in the situation if that water would have been 4 foot deep.
Well, and let's be
3 feet deep.
Yeah, let's be honest. Everybody takes risk every day. There's more accidents on the interstate. There's more car wrecks. People die in car wrecks.
Yeah.
I mean, so like when you're talking about managing risk, just getting out in your cars are a risk every day.
Absolutely.
Getting on the interstate. We're more in danger really driving here to Arkansas, 12-hour trip, than we are. I mean, we're more in danger on the road than we are in the hunting.
Yeah.
In the blind.
Well, I mean, and I got some hate from a page that was a flushing dog business.
Yeah.
Well, my response is you know, you don't think that you're putting your dog at risk when they're downfield when you've got a shotgun in your hand.
Oh, over their head.
Over.
Yeah.
I mean that's a major risk in itself. We don't do that.
No,
we don't do that. Pastor's not released until the guns are up or unloaded. And then just, you know, speaking of the risk of just even getting here, and speaking to the people who felt like I just don't care about my dog, which I absolutely do. You'll vouch for it. JB vouched for it. Everybody's made fun of me. That dog sleeps with me when we're here.
I mean, your daddy.
He's my cuddle buddy. He's my cuddle buddy, man. Him and Mabel sleep with us at home too. I mean, he gets the best food. He's got the best kennel. He's got the best vest. He's got the best leashes. He's got the best of everything that I can get. I mean, honest to God, we went to Bass Pro the other day.
Oh, yeah.
The big one in Memphis.
Memphis, yeah, the pyramid one.
Yeah, and
That's cool.
I went up to the dog section and started looking through the dog stuff, and I literally looked at the wall and I said, I've got the better stuff than anything here.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
He's got it. I mean, we definitely do this thing right. He's got a gunner kennel that we brought in the van. And I thought about that. If we were getting a wreck, he'd survive before we would.
Yeah, he's more safe than we are.
Yeah.
Funny.
I mean, and people will talk. People will say that, and that's fine. And quite honestly, I mean, from a content perspective, the more hate you get on that, the more that video goes. Any
feedback or comments or that negative or positive, it just feeds the video. So we want to thank you.
Press is good press at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you haven't watched that, please go to YouTube, watch it on YouTube, go back on our Facebook and watch it. On Facebook it hit like 1.5 million and then over 8 on YouTube. So it was awesome to see that go viral. It's awesome to get a viral video, and we've experienced it more times than not now. I mean, like we've got quite a few out there. So go back and peer through that on YouTube, The Banded Retrieve, and on Facebook. It'd be great for you to go see that. And I think this is about enough time we have, as I think they just said breakfast is ready, and so we ain't gonna stop. We're gonna stop this to go eat. I believe we're gonna get a little breakfast from Commander's Corner. I actually took a little video of it, so might post that, just a little bit of I think it's bacon and sausage, and looked like he made some kind of egg, so it's gonna be good. But hopefully we'll see y'all soon, and I hope you're out there getting your guns clean now, because February is gonna be here, or hopefully you find a conservation hunt, go out and do that. It's a lot of fun, goose hunting. But if not, it's about time to move to turkey and get ready for fishing. So I hope you guys have a great evening, and I hope you're doing well. We'll talk to you soon.